If I had to build a SaaS business from scratch in 2026 with no product, no team, no developers, this is exactly how I do it. The fastest way to go broke, by the way, with software today is the same mistake people made 10 years ago. They started by hiring developers, they spent tens of thousands of dollars, they built for months, and only then did they find out, after they built, that nobody wants the thing. In 2025, that was the norm. I know this because I was doing it. Back in the day, in 2015, I was creating software, I was paying for developers, I had this idea, this hunch that something would work, and I started spending money, a lot of it. Well, in 2026, that approach is completely unnecessary. And in this video, I want to show you how I would build a software business today using AI, webinars, and validation before I ever worried about code. And by the end of this video, you will know how to validate an idea, how to sell it before completion, and how to use webinars to scale without turning development into a bottleneck. So let's start with step number one. Start with a problem you actually understand. The first thing I would do is start with a problem I'm already living with, something real, something I understand deeply. So when I built EasyWebinar, it came from a real need. I was selling with webinars. They worked, but I wanted to scale the experience. I wanted people to have the same impact without me being live every single time. So I built what I needed. That became EasyWebinar, and it was a platform that did automated webinars. But here's the honest part. That approach worked, but I was also lucky. It involved some luck. I assumed my problem was the same problem other people had. That assumption doesn't always hold true. If I were starting again today, I would still start with a problem, but I would validate it first, no assumptions. So that leads me to step two. This is where most people get it wrong. They think validation means survey beta users or quietly building an MVP in the background. I would validate the idea with a webinar first. You see, a webinar lets you do three things simultaneously. Explain the problem, see if people care about the problem, and see if they're willing to pay for the solution to the problem. If people register, show up, and ask good questions, you're onto something. If they don't, you just saved yourself months of work. See, webinars are both a selling tool, but also think of them as a validation tool. They let you hear objections in real time. They let you see what confuses people. They reveal what actually matters. You learn while you're selling. All right, step three, use AI to think through the product. Once I knew the problem was real, I would bring AI into the process as a thinking partner, not a coder yet. I would use AI to help me outline the product, pressure test ideas, and think through workflows. I would literally say, here's the problem, here how people are trying to solve it today. What would a simple solution look like? In fact, I would take the video of the training that I did where I talked about the problem to people, and I would upload that to AI as well as any responses from those people so it can give me an actual response based on that data from the webinars I did. Here's the problem, here's how people are trying to solve it today. What would a simple solution look like? In fact, I would actually upload the content from the webinar into AI. I'd take the video, put it into AI. I'd take all the responses from the chat, put it in AI, let AI give you an outcome based on that, and see what it gives you. AI helps you move faster and see blind spots, but you're still the expert. You see, AI helps you move faster and see blind spots, but you're still the expert. AI just helps you clarify the path. Step four, build a simple MVP without a dev team. So this is where 2026 is completely different from when I started. You can now use vibe coding tools, no-code platforms, and AI-assisted builders to get something real in front of people fast. You don't need a full dev team to build an MVP. The product doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to work, and the goal is value, not beauty. And then what do? You show it to people, you sell access to it, you improve it as you go, you're building and validating at the same time. That alone can save you tens of thousands of dollars. So that leads me to step five, where developers actually matter. So you do need a developer. Developers, they still matter, but just later in the process. So once you know people want your product, once money is coming in, then you bring developers in for back-end, scale, and infrastructure. Now you're making a focused investment instead of a blind gamble. And that's a completely different situation than hoping a product works after months of development and development costs. Okay, step six, packaging software with training and services. Here's another mistake people make. They try to sell software by itself, okay? Here's what I would do. I would bundle the software with training and services like onboarding, implementation help, and education, because now you're selling an outcome and you're not just selling the tool. I would actually do this on an annual package, and because it's a flagship price, because you've never launched it, you give them a really great deal, and people will actually take it. That's the start of this business model. Step 7, scale with a series of webinars. Now, let's say once you've built the software, once the developers have created a backend, you have things cooking, well, now webinars come back to the table. I would run a series of webinars all around the core problem. This is real education, not hyper tricks. And the cool thing is you've already kind of built the presentation, you've talked about the problem and how you solve it. So you're already sort of working on those things while you've been doing this. So now you're able to run a weekly webinar that actually starts to get clients through the door, right? And you're now starting to get 10 clients, 20 clients, 30 clients, 40 clients, 50 clients. You know, you start to get more and more customers using your software, and this is the fastest way to do it. You're inviting the right people into a conversation. You're not chasing them. They're finding you because they're looking online for a problem that you solve. Suddenly your webinar pops up. They come in and they learn why you solved the problem. And that's how EasyWebinar was built. And that's still how I would do it today. So if you remember something from this video, remember this. Start with the problem, not the code. Validate it with a webinar, and then use AI to think, not guess, but build simple before you build big. And if you're ready to actually put this in action, and if you want to validate ideas or sell intelligently and scale without burning out, check out EasyWebinar. It's the platform I built, use, and teach with, because it keeps the human experience front and center while automation quietly handles the rest. If this was helpful, stick around. We go deep onto this stuff on this channel. And by the way, join me in the sales experience community where we'll talk more about these strategies. We're talking real conversations with real people, all about scaling. And in there, we'll talk more about using tools like vibe coders and what you have to say when you're prompting AI to build a cool thing, right? You have to really think about this thinker needing to hear kind of all the little bits and pieces. It can really help you to start validating, getting your program built and ready to go. Yeah, and if you want some of the prompts that I would suggest saying while you're building a program or a software, come on into the sales experience. We're going to be talking about what kind of prompts work the best for talking to these vibe coders so that they do a lot of the work. The UI looks amazing and you're actually getting a thing built that you truly want instead of sort of half built, right? Because that can happen with these vibe coders like base 44 or Lovable or any of the other ones, right? Come into the community and we can show you how to use those platforms in the wisest way. And if this video is helpful, like and subscribe, and I will see you at the next video. All right, take care.